Hey everybody, welcome. Welcome everybody. It's good to see y'all. Make sure you join me for today's live. Thanks for joining me. So guys, how's everybody doing? How is life treating y'all? Yeah, it's been a while since I've lived and been busy. Oh my goodness, it's been busy. It's been super busy, and so that's why my live streaming and my posting has been very slow. This is my hey show. Welcome in. How's it going? Yeah, that's why my posting has been so slow, is because I've been swamped. I picked up a couple new contracts that for work, and they're really good. And the downside of it is that it's a ton of work. So with that, it slows me down on my regular claims. Like last night, I was working till midnight trying to catch up. I'm still behind, which is really rare for me. On deployment with pilot in Atlanta. Oh, what's going on in Atlanta? Very cool. Very cool. Are you working Allstate stuff? Yeah, it's always good to get on deployment. I wonder what they're doing. Maybe hail or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to know. I mean, there's so many deployments. I'm getting turned down for a lot of them. I'm not getting picked. A small hailstorm. Okay, that's the best. Hailstorms are the best. Yep, Allstate. So are you denying every single thing, or are you buying anything? So Allstate's notorious for denying everything. So even if you give them the best photos, the best documentation, oh, that's blemishes. Oh, that's foot traffic. Oh, that's not hail. So, yeah, it's kind of sad, but you know that there are some carriers out there that are hard to work for, in that they are not just taking our word for it. I mean, what's the point of an independent adjuster? Yeah, long time. Hey, Deviate. Nice to see you, man. You're my faithful friend. You're here. It's been a long time. I was just telling the group before this that I picked up a couple of contracts. One is commercial, and one is direct from the insurance carrier, which is really odd. I'll tell you a little bit about this. I don't want to tell you what insurance company it is, but they reached out to me because they got my name from, you're turning any flood up there. Yes. So that's the thing. I'm definitely running some flood. I've actually had 3 flood claims. I have a flood one in Durham right now that, you know, we're talking 4 feet of water in the house. And, you know, I get to a point where, you know, these are older houses. The thing's only worth $188,000. And obviously we're not going to run $188,000 on the damage, but I'm like, what kind of house is this thing going to be? I mean, think about it. Why would you buy a flooded car? You know, same thing. Even if they could fix it, who's going to buy a flooded car? No one. So this poor person, you know, has bought this house. They're in floodplain, 4 foot of water, and their house is literally going to have to be rebuilt from, you know, 6 foot down. Electrical, every imaginable thing. Yeah, you want to get flood certed. Are you offering any certs soon? No, I don't do flood. I hate flood, actually. I really don't like doing flood claims. And the reason being is it's mostly the contents that bothers me the most. And oh yeah, there's lots of people offering flood cert, but you gotta, I think you have to have 5 years experience. You gotta have like several thousand claims behind your belt before anybody will let you take the course. But here's the thing, all the contents, yeah, 4 years, all the contents I mean, it takes forever to inspect the property because the insured's there, and we're having to go through, you know, they got all their stuff laying all over the yard, trying to dry it, and you're trying to explain to them, you know, you're going to have to document all this. This person actually had pretty low coverage for contents, which was really sad. And the problem is that, you know, in a normal scenario, you could hire a content person to come in and you'd have plenty of content coverage. Like if you have $150,000 or $180,000 in content coverage in your house, paying them $20,000 to walk through your contents with you is a, you know, minuscule amount because it's all part of your coverage. You're not gonna, unless your house is like a total fire or something like that, it's totally different. You may not want to hire a content person because they'll just write policy limits. But the same thing goes for the flood. Well, this person had very low coverage, only $20,000 in personal property coverage, which is ludicrous, just crazy. And she told me, she said, oh, I was renting at the beginning. I never really updated. You know, when I moved over and got this flood policy, I didn't really update my contents. I didn't think I had that much stuff. Well, guess what? She has a lot of stuff. So the downside is the content person went over to her and said, you know, you really don't want to hire me because you're going to take, you know, my fee is going to come out of that coverage and you're going to lose a bunch of potential money, you know, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, whatever they charge to do the contents. It's going to come out of that coverage, another $20,000. So she was saying, hey, I think the best route for you is just to handle all your contents yourself. Well, think about that. House is flooded. Okay, every possession you own, every hanging clothes, you know, everything in the house is damaged. And this is sewer water, guys. This type of flooding is Cat 3 water. This is not, you know, this is all the septic systems overflowing, all that junk's in the water. This is Cat 3 water. And so every single item is either got to be super cleaned, meaning clothing, which maybe you could get it clean if you got it quick enough. But you're talking about like every piece of clothing that she owned, and it's a woman, so she had a ton of clothes. She had 20 bags of clothing. It's going to the cleaners. Well, how much do you think they're going to charge to clean all those things? A lot, you know, 20 bags of clothing. So, oh, I'm glad you got 8 years experience. Yeah, you'll have no trouble doing it. Just take this year it's over though. The certification classes are over this year. But they're always at the beginning of the year for the first 6 months or 5 months or something like that, where you sit through a class. If you've never had certification before, you sit through the NFIP course, and then after that, you can take it online to refresh it every year. So yeah, you gotta wait till next year to do it. But yeah, it's worthy of having. I've had it ever since. And they call me all the time for flood, and I'm like, I hate flood. I just do. And partly it's because I handle so many water claims every day of the week in my daily claims that I'm sick and tired of water. You know, I would rather be 100% roof any day of the week. I would run 5 roofs a day until I was blue in the sky. You know, it's just, I love roofs. To me, climbing and, you know, the ease of writing those estimates. Yeah, sure, some of them got inside damage, a little bit of water. No big deal. But when you do a flood, man, like when a water line breaks in a house, this is what I get all the time. There's water lines or third floor water heaters or toilet overflows. You know, the supply lines break off them, and so they're flooding the house. And so then it's everywhere. It's the whole stinking house. Is every floor has got damage, and you're writing flood basically as an inside of the house thing. Second floor, first floor, basement, contents, you know, you name it. And that's just a regular old water claim that I'm doing on a daily basis, making crappy money, because some of those are flat rate fees. But yeah, I don't like water claims. I really don't. I do them just because they are our bread and butter. You know, probably 50% of my claims are water claims. So I do them, but I don't like them. I'd rather run every day of the week. I'd run a cat somewhere, run all over the place, and chase after hurricanes or hail or wind claims or something like that any day of the week. I would love that. But it is what it is. So no, I picked up this new one. I picked up was they reached out to me. They found me on catadjuster.org, which if you're not on that listing, guys, you're throwing away the potential to find work all the time, because I have had problems in my career on catadjuster.org because I had a profile and they were searching the state, which they're looking for, and found my name. So then they call me and say, hey, do you want to handle claims with us? I'm like, sure. So I've got some work from them. Should I get my Texas license? Is there good volume? Oh yeah. So think about it. The probability of a hurricane coming to Texas is 50-50. It's in the Gulf. It's going to hit Texas. Okay, so Texas is huge for hurricanes and huge for hail. Now you probably won't get called on the hail stuff, only because they have so many adjusters in Texas that they're going to call everybody in Texas first before they ever call anybody outside the state. So I found that when I was in Texas, they would send me from Houston all the way up to Abilene all the time to do hail claims, and I'm like, that's like 5 hours drive or 4 hours drive. I was like, but it was a cat, so it's cool. But yeah, they'll send locals all over the place, but before they'll hire in outside people. But the other thing is, you want to get your Texas windstorm. That's for handling coastal wind damage claims for hurricanes. So the coast is the only insurance that they're selling right now for the one state across the whole Gulf Coast is Texas windstorm. All the regular insurance companies can't sell it there. You have to buy Texas windstorm. So when a hurricane comes in and there's damage on the coast, you got to have your Texas windstorm or you're not working. And that's easy to do. You don't have to have any years experience. Tons of free courses out there. Wanted to get to the $200,000 mark. Where should I be licensed? I have my New York. Oh, New York's good, and Georgia license already. Well, you can have New York. It's a good license to have. You can guarantee yourself work, but it's a horrible state to work in, from what I've heard. The reason why I would say just draw a line along the coastal, start at Texas, draw a line. Every state that's on the coast, all the way up Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia's free. Have every one of those states. If you don't have those states, you're going to be overlooked when it comes to a hurricane. Okay, so Texas windstorm is a specific course, yes, and you can look on it anywhere. Any of the firms will send you a link. Alacrity is a free course. Compass does a free course. Anybody does a free course. So whoever you're working for, just ask them if they have whatever firm you're with and you would like to deploy with. Ask them to send you a link, and they'll get you a free course that works through them, so that when you have your certification, then that firm is going to be looking at you and saying, okay, we know Daniel's got TWIA is what it's called, Texas windstorm, TWIA, and as long as he's got TWIA, then we know we can deploy him. So you become marketable from that firm when you get your certification from that firm. So just keep that in mind. If I have it with another firm, it's not like bad. It's just that they're not going to call you first because they really want you to work for their firm. So just keep that in mind. But that's a free course. That doesn't cost anything. But you got to do it every year. So you got to renew it every year. Yeah, so to get to the 200,000 mark, you're going to have to stay busy and you're going to have to travel. So you want to definitely be on a couple catastrophes every year. So that's going to be really the key to your 200K mark. Is every time that I travel, like every year, if I get deployed to a catastrophe, I know that my year's salary will be over 200K, because I do really well for daily stuff. But really, the bread and butter is really in the catastrophe work. So if you guys are looking to really push your game up, my goal, which I still have not done, I can't seem to get deployed for the hail stuff. So what I would like to do is somehow figure out how to get a spring storm hail, like hail cat event, and then get a hurricane event in the fall. And if I could do that, then I think I would be at a 250 to 300K income in a heartbeat. And I'd like to do that every year. But that's, like I said, it just doesn't happen. I can't seem to jump in to these people, and it doesn't seem to work out. So yeah, that's the only downside, is that you're kind of a slave to the. Let me know if the noise is bad. My phone is overheating, so I'm blowing air to cool it. Let me know if that's affecting the sound at all, guys. Let me know, because I can't see. The screen is dimmed because my phone is overheating. Gotcha. I can barely see that. So if I can't read your comments, I'm sorry, because my phone is dimmed. It's got to cool down. So is the sound okay? Sounds fine. Good. Okay, cool. Yeah, once the air gets blowing on it, then it'll cool down, and then it'll the light will come back up, and I'll be able to see. I got my light at full blast, but I can't see anything because it's overheating. So anyways, if I can't see your comments, sorry. So anyways, let me tell you guys about this new gig. So catadjuster.org, make sure you get on there and get your profile set up. So this guy reaches out to me. He's from X insurance company, and he says, I'd like you to apply for a position with our company. And I'm like, he's showing, he sends me an email, and he said, I'd like to do an online Zoom call with you as an interview for our company. And so I thought, well, this sounds kind of weird. I mean, he says he's from this insurance company, but why would the insurance company be directly reaching out to me? It just seemed a little fishy. Okay, I was a little bit nervous. So then, so I wrote him back and I said, how did you get my name? And he said, well, first of all, I found you on catadjuster.org, and then I also had somebody refer me to you. And I was like, okay. So again, I didn't really know who had given my name to him, but he said he works for the company. So I asked him specifically, I said, do you work for this insurance company? And he says, yeah. And I said, and you're reaching out to me individually for work? And he goes, yes. He says, the owner of our insurance company, or the CEO of our insurance company, just changed. And the new guy coming in is wanting to find specific adjusters to work areas in the state. And I was like, okay, well, that's where I'm already doing, because I'm working through a firm. And they go, yeah. And this CEO wants to go away from the firms and only work with individuals. And so I said, that's interesting. And he goes, yeah, the reason why we're doing that is because when we assign our claims to the firms, we don't know who we're getting to handle our claim, because it's all up to them however they assign their claims. It's a random thing. And it kind of clicked to me. I was like, yeah, that makes business sense for the carrier, so they know that the person handling the claim, they get to choose the person now who is handling the claim. Whereas if they send it to the firm, they have no idea who's going to be handling the claim. It could be a brand new person, it could be a medium person, it could be a skilled person. They don't know. So I guess what's happened from the conversation I had with them is that the quality of claims has been really poor that has been coming in lately to the carrier. Meaning the estimates are just off, they're just not, they're not documented well, there are problems with the facts of the loss, and so on and so forth. So the CEO has now decided that he wants to designate one person per area in every state that he works, and have all the claims go to that one person. So think about how that works. Like now, all the claims go to the firm divvies them out. I might get some, I might not, some, blah, blah, blah. Well now, all right, can you guys see me? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Anybody there? Anybody there? Anybody there? Anybody there? Anybody there? Anybody there? Oh, there we are. All right, somebody's back. All right, I was wondering where I went. Yeah, I lost service there for just a smidgen. I'm on Interstate 40. You're not supposed to lose service. I've been calling AT&T about my service. It's been so crummy. And even now, I only have 2 bars. I'm in Interstate 40, guys. Supposed to have 5 bars. All right, cool. I'm glad you guys see me now. So I'm sorry about that. It's really screwed up sometimes. I don't know. So anyways, the point is that you got to get yourself out there on these platforms like catadjuster.org, because you never know if an opportunity like this will come up. And so the guy signed me up. He was like, man, this is totally awesome. You're already working our claims. You know, we'll do the interview process just because we have to. But guaranteed, I'll be sending you claims on Monday. So then I asked him about the relationship that would be happening with the other firm. I said, you know, what's going to happen to them? And he says, well, you may receive claims from them. We're still going to give them, you know, our claims as we get a bunch. So like if we get a ton, like 20 or 30 or 50 in at one time, we're not going to give them all to you because we know you can't handle that. So we're going to give that bunch then to that firm. And so I was thinking about that, and I was going, boy, that's going to really suck for that firm who's been counting on being like always receiving tons and tons of claims, daily claims, that, all of a sudden be cut out. So I was a little bit bummed because I like working for this firm, but then, guys, you got to think about it in the respect of we're still self-employed. Like, for instance, if something bad happened to me, meaning an insured hated me and threw me under the bus, lied about me, and then the carrier fired me, that firm's not coming to my defense, you know, because they're going to go, well, we don't want to tick off the carrier, so we're going to make sure the carrier's happy, and you're chopped meat, okay? So in a lot of respects, you've got to look out after yourself more than you're looking out for the firm. I mean, I love working for the firm. Yeah, sorry, Deviate. I don't know what happened. Just had a bad glitch in the internet. But that's the thing. You've got to look out for yourself, because you never know what's going to happen to that firm or what's going to happen to a carrier that decides to do things differently. So from when I was talking with him, it sounded like the industry is changing. Okay, so now they call this, so if I'm working independently for the carrier, I'm not going through the firm anymore, I'm going right to the carrier, I'm considered a TPA, third-party administrator. And it sounds like a lot of your carriers are starting to do this. And it's a way for them to assure that the person handling the claim is somebody they want touching the claim. So this is why it's so important to make your game the best. Be the best. Be the superstar. Go the extra mile. Make your reports amazing. Make your estimates clean and precise, because it's going to stand out in the long run as that you are an exceptional adjuster. And then opportunities like this are going to come up. And I'm thrilled. I mean, I'm totally thrilled that now I'm going to be working directly to the carrier. So here's the really, really cool thing. Okay, guys. So I asked him, I said, you know, a different way of submitting stuff, blah, blah, blah. So I said, well, who's our file reviewer? And he says, you don't need a file reviewer. You've been handling these claims for a long time and your product's awesome. What do you need a file reviewer for? And I'm like, no way. I just graduated to not having a file reviewer now. I'm like, that's where half my headaches are, is that my file reviewers are nitpicking. Oh, you forgot paint mask on this. You forgot this. You know, I'm like, dude, that's 20 cents to the estimate. Come on. they're going to supplement anyways. So if they come in and, water claim for the whole house, if you got 90% of it right on the estimate, you've wrote an excellent estimate. I'm not kidding. That's how it works, because they know there's supplements. They know that contractor's going to argue with that estimate and is going to try and add a bunch of stuff in, and we'll get it on the back end. And so I'll see that estimate, I'll see all those inflated costs later, and we'll argue about it later. But it's not going to make my estimate wrong from the very beginning if I'm missing 5 to 8% or 10% of what's supposed to have on there. Now, that's a big number. If you're talking about a $100,000 estimate, you shouldn't be missing 5 or 10% of that. But I'm talking like if you got a $8,000 estimate, you're missing 5%, you're missing $400. It's like you're not killing the estimate if you're missing $400 worth of stuff. So just kind of see it as that, is that maybe the industry is changing to be more in the carrier's favor, so that they can say, hey, we really like this guy handling our estimates. Why can't we have him all the time? And that's what they're complaining about with the firms, is that when they're sending over a group of claims over to the firm, they have no control over who that firm is sending those claims to. So that firm could be trying to groom a brand new adjuster, and they're sending, one to him, one to their medium guy, one to their good guy, and then one maybe outside the area. So what's happening is that you're getting different qualities of estimates that are coming in to the carrier, and their consistency level, meaning if you have an adjuster that's handling tons of the same claims, like the same carrier claims over and over and over and over and over again, you're going to have a consistency in that estimate writing that the carrier is going to like and say, oh, I remember this guy's estimate's excellent. It's always right on point. He's got everything included. He doesn't seem to miss it. But you got a brand new guy who's very rarely wrote an estimate for this carrier. It's filled with whatever training he has from every other carrier he's ever worked for. And it could be a really sloppy product, depending on how his training went. And so the carriers are getting frustrated with the inconsistencies of these estimates. And so now they're saying, hey, can we just assign it to X adjuster that happens to be living, in our work area, and just skip the firm altogether? Well, here's the thing, they're not paying me more. That's the bummer. I was kind of bummed about that, because I was saying, I was talking this about with my dad, and he's like, well, then do you make the full cut? And I said, no, it sounds like they only raised me 5%. So they raised me 5% on the fee schedule, or on the flat rate schedule and the fee schedule. And so I was like, it's better than nothing. I make a 5% raise. But here's the thing, I could be getting 3 times as many claims than I was getting, because they're not going through the firm. Now they're going directly to me. So there could be a very big perk to that. And what's really cool is he said, yes, we'll be using the firm for, CAT events or bulk claim events, meaning we get 20 claims in at one time. We'll send them over to them. You may still get claims from that firm as well, if they are assigning them to you as well. So you may get a double doozy, as far as you'll get all the stuff that we're not sending them, and you'll get the trickle of stuff that comes that they have, and you can still be deployed by a catastrophe event if something comes up. Well, here's the conflict. Okay, that was the conflict, is that, say this firm calls me and I've gone out with them before, and then they call me for catastrophe. Well, guess who's going to be calling me? That same carrier is probably going to be calling me as well for a catastrophe. And so I'm trying to figure how it works out. If you tell the firm, hey, I'm going with somebody else, but really not, I'm actually going with the same carrier. I mean, you can't say that. That would just be freaky. So you got to kind of hide that arrangement and say, I'm busy, or no, I'm not going out on this one, or whatever. So that's kind of a bummer, is you might be burning a little bit of bridges when it comes to working for the firm on a catastrophe event if you're never available when they are asking you to go, because you're maybe going out with the carrier directly. The other thing is, what's going to happen to my claims locally? If I'm the guy they're going to locally, I disappear on a catastrophe, how's that going to work out? Who's going to handle my claims? If I'm the guy who they're saying they want to handle all the claims locally, who's going to take over? So those are some of the questions I haven't figured out. I don't know if I want to ask them, but he did offer that I could go on catastrophe with them, anytime. So I don't know. He's got something figured out. Maybe he's going to put 2 guys in our area. I don't know. It just depends on the claim volume, I think. I think if the claim volume is big enough, you would have to have 2 guys, that could handle that area. But the fact that you would be the primary guy that they'd be going to is really cool. And I'm going directly to the carrier. And I don't have a file reviewer. And all I'm doing is sending it to him by email. Sending the estimate when I'm done by email to him. That's it. He closes it out. He pays me. We're done. And so I thought it was a little bit too good to be true, but I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. It's a different way of doing it. And he said a lot of carriers are going to start going that way because it's a better way to guarantee you can have a top-notch adjuster handle every claim. A guy that needs a guy? Yeah, maybe. It may come to that because technically I would be sort of acting like my own firm, but you have to register. You have to register as a firm, a producer, if you want to start. See, that's the thing that's confusing. If I'm working directly for the carrier, then technically I'm a producer. So I'm trying to figure out how that all works. I need to look into that. Because technically you're not allowed to be talking directly to the insurance or working directly to the insurance carrier unless you're a producer. So I'll have to look at my license on that. I might need to call the licensing board and ask them that question. Because the whole point of having, as an independent is that we are going through a third party. So I'm acting as a TPA right now with him. Third party administrator. Well, if I'm a third party administrator, then technically I'm a producer. If I'm not licensed as a producer, I technically can't operate that way. So I may need to pick up North Carolina producer license, myself in compliance. So I'm going to look into that. I'll let you guys know. Because you don't want to be out of clients. Like, you don't want to get in trouble with the Department of Insurance handling claims directly for the carrier when you're not a producer, because that's the conflict. I know that. So, yeah, going back to it, you're kind of acting like a firm if you're going directly to the carrier. Could I get work? I only had 1 claim today. I did that on purpose because I'm so behind. I've got a massive flood I've got to write. I've got 2 corrections on floods I got to write, and I've got 2 other claims that I'm doing too. So I'm just super swamped right now, and I'm kind of hoping we get past Friday. I got a bunch of lawyer stuff going on. I'm going to court for modification of child support and alimony at the end of July. Crazy amount of work with that that I'm trying to get prepared for. I have to hire a CPA to be my witness to verify my self-employment income because the judge doesn't believe my income because of my tax returns. So my judge thinks I'm lying. Yeah, well, how can I go 3 years with my tax returns never being audited, never having a correction, and yet I'm lying on my tax? Figure that one out. Well, this judge, in order to modify it, he doesn't verify my income correctly because he doesn't understand self-employment income. He's used to everybody who's coming in there with a W-9, a W-2. Oh, here's my money. This is all I make. My tax is already taken out. Well, he doesn't understand self-employment. He doesn't understand business expenses. So I've had to hire this CPA. It's going to cost me about $2,000 to have him come be my witness in court, just so you'd bought an iPad to speed myself up on the next cat. Oh, that's good. I probably need to refresh myself with an iPad. What's that new stuff out there called LiDAR? It's actually apparently getting lots of attention. Fully sketching, fully documenting everything in your sketch and automatically importing it into Xactimate. So I might be looking into that, and that all works in the iPad as well. I've got an iPad. I got a super iPad, but I just don't want to really go mobile yet. On, I mean, I might if it's sped up stuff like my sketching. That would be really cool. Doesn't speed up your roofing. You know, you still gotta, you know, depending on the carrier, if they don't pay for the roof reports, then you still are having to sketch out all your roofs. So I unfortunately work for a carrier that's like that. But yeah, if you could take a picture of a roof, well, I guess that's what, you know, Eagle View does. They get all the measurements for you. Yeah, so that, I mean, that super speeds up everything. If you can get an Eagle View on every single claim, that's like a dream come true. And LiDAR is supposed to make the interior super fast. It will take all the measurements, import an Xactimate, all the window openings are there, door openings are there, everything's done, and you just take your photos and, you know, count the stuff that's damaged, measurements or whatever. So that could speed up a lot of stuff if I didn't have to draw every one of these stinking houses. And that's another reason I don't like flood. You got to draw the whole stinking house, every single inch of that house you're drawing. And then if you have a water claim upstairs, then you're drawing the whole upstairs, you're drawing the whole downstairs. It's just a lot of work. Just a lot of work. Like this whole house flood, it's a $188,000 house. I will probably write a $100,000 estimate. All the cabinets, bathroom, 3 bathrooms, 3 baths, or 3 bed, 3 bath. It's not a really big house, but it has everything in it. All your appliances. So all of those got soaked. You know, gas range, nice fridge, dishwasher, profile, you know, G profile. So you got a lot of money in appliances right there. Water heater, HVAC, all. You got all your flooring, all your door frames. Every door in the place is coming out. We're gonna do new doors, new baseboard. LiDAR? Oh, you've used LiDAR before? Oh, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And how much does it cost? That's what I was wondering. Do they charge like a monthly fee to use it, or like, how does it implement? I don't know enough about it. I just heard rumors about it. That's really good. Speeds up sketching. Yeah, for sure. And photos? Oh wow. Tell me, what does it cost? Like, what's the equipment run? Come on, Deviate, tell us, spill the beans, man. Tell them how much it costs. Just giving you a hard time. It's probably a delay on the question. I want to know what the equipment costs and if there's a monthly fee or anything like that. I can look it up if you don't have it. But yeah, I'll look into it because I love tools. Like, I love my laser measurer, but here's the thing, my disto, it says it transfers all my measurements to an iPad or something like that. I just don't want to carry an iPad. Not an iPad, a clipboard, photo measurer, laser measurer. That's too many things in my hands. It's like, where do you put all this stuff? I mean, I saw a guy who had a tray, like a little tripod he carried his iPad around on, and he just plopped it down and did his thing. That was kind of cool. I saw that one time. That's one way to do it. Let's see, the cost for the Exact Pro is $330 versus the desktop price as far as the equipment. It needs an iPhone, iPad with LiDAR. So does it work through Xactimate? Is that what it's doing? Is LiDAR an Xactimate company? Pay $180 for Pro, which is $40 more. Oh, so you have to have Xactimate Pro? Yeah, I'll look into it, guys. If you don't know, oh, it's a technology. Okay. Okay, cool. I didn't know. I thought it was like a 3D imaging thing that you sit in the room and it does all your measurements for you, like a camera. I've seen some of those. I don't like the way it looks though. Those 3D cameras, like the ones they use for real estate, they warp all the photos. Everything is all warped and out of proportion. I don't like it. I had one guy, remediation company came in and showed me something. I don't think it was LiDAR, but he had this little camera. He set it on a tripod, put it in the middle of the room, and then I said, "Hey, can you send me the photo report, and just so I could see what you took a picture of, before I got there?" And his pictures were horrible. I was like, "That's great." LiDAR is basically technology in the iPhone and the iPad, which allows you to do the 3D sketches. Oh, okay. LiDAR measures the room, so you don't have to put doors, windows, cabinets, everything in there. Well, that's cool. Yeah, that's kind of neat. I'll look into it. Yeah, if it speeds things up, especially like these really, like in North Carolina, we have a lot of fancy houses. When I was in Texas, everything's a big square box. When I was in Florida, everything's a square box. Really simple houses to draw. North Carolina sites, if you have a wall longer than 4 feet, it's time to turn it. it's time to put a 45-degree angle on that wall if it's longer than 4 feet. so that's what's saying is when you're writing these rooms, man, you're drawing up the crazy diagrams. And so especially like with the water ones that are flooding the whole house, you're looking at an hour to draw or to sketch that thing by the time you put all the corners in, and then it takes you half an hour to measure it. So yeah, it's very time consuming on those really big ones. So yeah, anything that would be faster would be pretty cool. Very cool. Well, guys, I'm almost home. I will probably not be able to stay on more than 5 more minutes. So if you have any quick questions at the end, make sure you ask them now. I was just coming back from Burlington, which is about an hour away, doing a roof claim. And I will definitely try to post more, but I can't promise it this month. This month is absolutely nuts with my court case coming up at the end of the month, and I'm just trying to wrap up all these flood claims. It's a crazy month. Crazy month. I haven't done a lot of claims, but I'm doing these commercial ones. Some of these commercial ones too, and they're huge. I made I billed $6,000 on that commercial roof claim for time and expense. $6,000 billing. I mean, you believe that on one claim? Mind you, it took me 30 hours probably to write everything. I had about a 30-hour invoice. So, time and expense, crazy amount of work. And ended up writing 11 estimates, 11 roof reports, basically doing 11 estimates for damages for a hail claim for a condominium project of 11 buildings. So yeah, those are the ones that are like totally awesome. Like you look at it and you go, well, that was worth it. $6,000 in 1 month, in 1 week worth of work. That was pretty awesome. So, but you kind of look at that and you go, hey, if I had 20 or 30 roof claims of normal roof claims, I could have made twice that. So you kind of, because everything I was doing was new, because I was having to read the policy. There was all this commercial junk language, what was covered, what was not. And so there was a lot of extra work in that I was not familiar with in the commercial side of things. And so it added a lot of time to the estimate. And then they had really specific things, like most of the deductibles were 1% of the building value. Well, guess what? Every building had... the judge will be watching me. No, actually, the greatest thing about that, Oh, let me go back to this. So the deductible was 1% of the building value. So every building value had a different value. So I had to go through and, right to the penny, change 1% for the deductibles. So that's 11 different buildings, 11 different deductibles to the penny. It's not a lot, but think about it. When you're just thinking, you glance 1 second, throw in $1,000 deductible, and you're done. And now